Nurah Speaks is a weekly podcast that tugs at the soul and consciousness of the Black community. With show topics such as youth empowerment, education, women's impact, and civic engagement, Nurah Speaks challenges the listener to not only join the movement, but be the movement. On the show, you'll learn from insightful guests who have demonstrated capacity in these fields and more, and I'm your host, Nurah Muhammad. Welcome to the show. Welcome to another episode of the Nurah Speaks podcast, and I am your host, Nurah Muhammad. You are in for a treat today as I bring to the podcast for the first time a dear sister who's doing great work in her community. Her name is Cindy McCoy, and Cindy is a councilwoman in a town called Hynella, New Jersey, that's in Camden County. And she is not only the city councilwoman, but she is also the chair of the Hynella Democrat Committee. And when we spoke on the podcast, she shared with me, as she shares with you, her new initiative, McCoys Stop the Hunger Food and Mobile Pantry. Cindy started this nonprofit organization which commits to ending hunger in our community and ensuring everyone has access to the food they need. McCoys Stop the Hunger is a 501c3 food pantry and mobile pantry working with community to address food insecurity and ensure nutritious options to residents. And on the podcast, she's talking about her latest initiative within her mobile food pantry, in which she's having a walk run-a-thon that's happening November 9th in Cooper River Park. And this was such a wonderful conversation because not only did Cindy talk about this initiative and her upcoming event, but she also shared how she got involved in the community and specifically in joining city council. As you know, I like to bring people to the podcast who have good intentions and are doing work in their community to make a difference. So it's my pleasure to bring to you Cindy McCoy. Welcome to another episode of the Nurah Speaks podcast, and I am your host, Nurah Muhammad, and I am thrilled to be joined by a wonderful guest, sitting City Councilwoman Cindy McCoy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Sister
I'm,
Nora.
I'm excited to have you on to talk about this great initiative that you're having in your town. But first, let's get to know you a little bit. Tell us a bit about yourself, how you became interested in local government.
My name is Cindy McCoy, of course, and how I got interested in local government ties in is just pretty much like helping people. I've been doing it since I was a teenager, and it actually started in Parkside in Camden. It was called a Clean Sweep Initiative, where we helped a correction officer. She would have us. I mean, we actually were on a payroll. We were clean sweep alleyways in Parkside on Princess Avenue. And we had to get up every morning to do this. It was like a summer program for me and a few others. And it just the after effect of how the residents felt about their, those who weren't able to clean their own backyards or their alleyways. It was just amazing. And it was a rewarding feeling. And from there on, I believe I was like 15. From there on, I just enjoy helping people any way I can, especially if they couldn't do it themselves. And I had the ability to do so. So that's where it started. And the rest was history. And now I started this initiative with feeding people, which is something I have always done, but I started my own organization and I'm feeling good about it. So
That's great. That's
yes.
great. I think, the experiences that we have in our childhood really do imprint upon us, and
Yes.
they really help direct our course as adults in our future. I can certainly say the same for me with my family, my grandmother, my aunts, and now I find myself in a helping position. Career-wise and outside of my career. So I definitely can relate to that. So, how do you, transition and have an interest in politics, because that was just like community service, right? So help us understand, your development a-
Mhm.
as someone who would find themselves working in government.
So working in government is just the icing on the cake, and I say that is because it gives you um, the more resources that you need to help those that may lack thereof. And how I got involved, I was born and raised in the city of Camden. I started um, on a board. I forget the name of the board, but I do. It was Main Street Project, which has taken place here in the city of Camden. It looks beautiful, by the way. And then I didn't get more involved after that. I had stopped and I finished school, and then I moved to Hynella, which was in 2011.
Which is
And I didn't get
also, which I should say is also in Camden County.
Yes, also in Camden
Yeah,
County.
yeah, Camden City is like the seat of Camden County, right?
Yes, yes.
And so now you're in Hynella, New Jersey.
Yes, I'm in Hynella, New Jersey. I've been here since 2011, and I didn't get involved right away, but maybe like a few years later, I literally didn't have a car. I walked down to the municipality and was like, I want to get involved. I was seeing things that I didn't appreciate, like potholes and things like that.
Right.
Street signs weren't available, and I'm like, we got to do something about this. And just getting to know the residents and things like that, their needs. And the rest is history. I was sworn in 2016, and I'm still here on, a city council seat. Challenging times, but for the most part, the things that I'm able to do for the constituents that they're not able to do for themselves, I enjoy, taking part in that.
Yeah. I love that. You just walked up and said, I want to do something here. And
Yes, so I was like, I got to do
yeah,
something.
I love that. I think, we see those quality of life issues that impact us, impact our neighbors, and the how do we fix this? And often as residents, we really don't know where to start. We just know that we need to go down to the municipal building and and raise a fuss, and in getting involved in the local government. And you get to see how the systems work from the inside, right?
Yeah.
And then you become the person that's educating residents, on how that goes. And so I think that is really special. It's such a sweet story. And so we're just 2024. We're still kind of coming out from under the, I guess, most horrific devastation that we experienced during COVID-19. And
Yes.
I know this initiative that you're going to share with us really was born out of your experiences during the pandemic.
Yes. Thank you. That's interesting where I'm going with this. So, yes, it stemmed from the pandemic. How can I say this? Excuse me. There was an email that came up stated they needed volunteers to pack food and deliver it to residents in Camden County. I don't want to get this confused, but I believe it's some kind of affiliation with Cooper Hospital and Cam Care patients. They come together.
And
So
let me just say for the folks who are listening who are not local to Camden County, Cooper Health System is one of the major health systems in New Jersey,
yes.
specifically South Jersey, and then Cam Care is a medical provider also in Camden County. And so it sounds like they partnered in this initiative to ensure residents in Camden County who needed food brought to them had that opportunity to have it delivered by their own neighbors that reside in Camden County.
Yes, yes. So what we did was we packed the food. No, most buildings weren't open, so we packed the food in the parking lot of Croc Center.
Wow.
And once the food was packed, we all received a resident list of where to distribute the food. And of course, I chose Kansas City to deliver because that's my hometown. So what we did that, and it was so fulfilling, and it was a wonderful thing. It was like a pound of food that the residents received, and they were so grateful for it. Most of them didn't have vehicles, and they were letting you know that we didn't have no way to get to, the grocery store. We appreciate this, and thank you so much. And it was just a wonderful feeling. to do something like that. And I was like, oh my goodness, I also enjoyed it. We didn't get paid for it. That's how you know when you love doing something, when you don't get paid for it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my gosh, I think I want to continue something like this. And it didn't happen right away, because I had lack of resources on my end on how to start one.
Right.
So just a recent gathering we had at the Croc Center,
And
and then
let me just say, the Croc Center is a facility that is also located in Camden City that
yes,
is belongs to Volunteers of America, and
mhm,
it's a community hub where you can have worship there in that building. You can
yes,
swim in the pool, go work out, take Zumba classes. It's
yes, and they also have a food pantry as well.
and they have a food pantry, and it sounds, what you were describing almost sounds like an Instacart for meals for
Yes,
folks who needed that, and that's really special. So as you're speaking, and folks who are listening, who are not here, who are listening in Chicago or listening on the West Coast, they understand. And that's the great thing too, I'll say, Cindy, about Camden County, is that there are um, so many agencies,
yes, resource,
nonprofits that coalesce to
yes,
serve the residents who live in Camden County. And so we just mentioned the Cooper Health System, Cam Care, which is a
yeah,
health provider, right? And of course, now we're talking about Volunteers of America and at the Croc Center. So, just I love living in Camden County myself. So it's always a great opportunity to boast on what Camden County does to
yes.
serve its community. But go on, go on.
Yeah. Yes. So, I don't know how to finish now. You don't made it plain to say yes. It's so true. But we do have a lot of great resources in here in Camden County. So, in May of this year, sorry, let me back up. May of this year, there was an event that was at the Croc Center on how to start a nonprofit.
Mm,
And it just, I was like, oh my gosh, it was so much information. Knowledge is power. So I was like, I got to take advantage of this. And then I needed a moment. So I was like, that's it. I'm going to start a food pantry.
mm,
And so I started McCoy Stop the Hunger Food and Mobile Pantry. I did all I needed to do, register, the name, and, made it, legit and all, which is a great thing to do if you're trying to do something the right way.
right.
And here we are. I have my nonprofit, 501c3. Our first event we had was August 24th, doing a backpack for the kids here in Hynella. And we have our second event, which is coming up, our walk, Run-a-thon, foundation, which we're going to be doing, which is going to be on November 9th at Cooper River Park in Pennsauken from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it's pretty much a fundraiser, in need of sponsorships. And the money is raised to help find a building, to provide and distribute food to those in dire need, which would pretty much be geared towards children, elderly, and single household families.
That's great. That's great. And Cooper River, is a park that's, again, in Camden County Park
Every
System.
county.
I listen, the park system in this county is just extraordinary. And I'm somebody that I love to walk, and specifically walk outside. And
Yes,
there's so many great parks in Camden County, and Cooper River is one of the biggest parks, and it's a park that a lot of people like to go jog. You can take your canoe out there.
yes,
Uh, you can bike. And so your event is going to be November 9th from
yes,
9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it's the walk and run-a-thon. That way, if you don't have to run,
yes,
maybe you can do the run walk a little bit. Something I do. I like my little run walk.
yes, that's me.
and um, and so folks can register and come out and not just contribute to a great cause, but fellowship and
Yeah,
get together with friends and neighbors, and just learn more about what's happening in the county, and
yes.
more about your specific initiative through your nonprofit.
Yes, there will be vendors out there as well. So yes, and you'll get a chance to meet others and also hear me speak more about the program moving forward and all the great things that we'll have to offer. We're looking forward to having raising money and opening a building before this year is out.
Mm.
So I look
Yeah.
forward to that, helping people on a full-time basis that are in dire need of food in
And
those three.
I want to also, for folks who may be coming from out of town or out of the county, Cooper River Park is located on North Park Drive in Pennsauken.
Yes.
And I know that when anytime that they have where there's a breast cancer walk, it's a juvenile cancer walk, or there's always signs, right? So because
And
it's such a large park, right? And so folks will need to know exactly where you're going to be staged.
yeah.
And so do you have a website or a phone number, contact information, so listeners can reach out to you, find out how to support, find out how they can get involved?
Yeah, so you made a good point. I want to say it is 100 yards away from the boathouse near the tree canopy area in Pennsauken. And yes, North Park Drive Airport area. That's where it's going to be located. And our website is McCoys Stop the hyphen Hunger hyphen Food hyphen and hyphen mobile. It is very long, but it's there. Mobile hyphen pantry hyphen web node page. Webnode.page.
Okay,
I might
so
have to repeat
I'll,
that again.
I'll make sure that I include that in the show notes so that listeners can just go straight to the link and click on there to support you, and support
Okay.
this wonderful and honorable initiative that you have, McCoy Stop the Hunger
Food
Food
and mobile
and
pantry.
Mobile Pantry. It's really excellent. So I do, listeners, after or now while you're listening to this episode, make sure you go to Cindy's website and click that link and learn more, get involved, tell your family, your friends.
Yes.
A walk in the park in the fall is always a beautiful thing,
Yes, it is.
and you're certainly going to be supporting a good cause. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sister Nora.
And so you had the backpack giveaway. How was that at the start of the school year?
It was amazing. We had a community partnership with the Wilson's Restaurant here in Hynella, and we gave away backpacks to the kids. And it was just, I just know it's the thing about seeing people's faces when they're just so happy, when you're able to help them. And that is such a rewarding feeling. And just looking at the kids, they're so happy about the backpacks and all.
Yeah,
So,
listen, I remember getting my new Trapper Keeper, at the beginning of the school year. It's very exciting, and certainly, hunger continues to be a problem in this country, and a lot of families are still coming out from under the dust of
yes,
COVID-19 and the pandemic and all that has been experienced, and we know right now around the country, folks are being devastated by the hurricanes that are hitting the southeast, and so people are experiencing hardship, everywhere we go, and so for you to have this initiative now at this time and being inspired, by activity that you started when you were a very young lady, and getting involved in government, going to the Croc Center and learning how to open your nonprofit, doing it the right way, because that's another challenge that many of us have. We want to do good, um but there's a structure to it,
yes, it is.
there's a structure to it. And so you're doing your due diligence, and now you're inviting others to support the work that you're doing. It's really, really wonderful, and I congratulate you for that.
Thank you so much, Sister Nora. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm
It's
excited. I'm excited. November 9th, it's going to be a big day here
yeah,
in Camden County. We want to make sure that we're encouraging everybody to be registered to vote. If you are not, we encourage you to vote by mail because it's so convenient. And I
yes,
also will
yes,
have a link in the show notes about how you can register to vote if you're not registered, or you can even check to see if you're registered. And however you vote, we encourage you to make sure your voices are heard and get
yes.
out there and vote Tuesday, November 5th. So I want to thank you for joining me on the podcast. It's always a great privilege and honor to have great guests like yourself who are doing great things in the community.
Thank you so much, Sister Nurah. Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
for having me.
Absolutely a pleasure. So I want to thank the listeners again. We're going to make sure that you have all the information you need to support this great initiative that's happening early next month, and make sure you get out and vote, make your voice heard. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Nurah Speaks podcast.
We were brought here as a piece of property, and to keep that piece of property, it is to not allow the property to know the value of the property. What I mean by that, if you had known the history of yourself, you would not have been made a slave. And you won't be a slave now if you have a knowledge of yourself. It's hard to enslave a person that have equal knowledge with you. You just can't do it. And so this knowledge of yourself is the thing that will free you from what you have been suffering from.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Nurah Speaks podcast. Be on the lookout for a new episode coming at you fresh next week. And as always, if you want to learn more about me and the work that I do, visit my website, NurahMuhammad.com. Or if you have a listener question, email me at info@NurahSpeaks.com. You can also follow the Nurah Speaks podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Nurah Speaks Podcast. I'll be sure to include links in the show notes. If this show has value to you, please subscribe, rate, and review, and share it with family and friends. And be sure to check out previous episodes. And remember, don't just join the movement, be the movement. Stay in peace.